22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
Lights are on.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
Yes,
The
yes,
echo is
yes.
off. You are listening to Black Westchester Presents People Before Politics Radio on InTheMixRadio.com every Sunday 6 to 8 or 6:10 to 8:10. This is how we get down. And the most important thing in the intro, as always, this is the crew that is not afraid to say it. We got Damon K. Jones in the house.
Yes, yes, yes.
I am AJ Woodson. Cynthia Turnquest Jones is on hiatus or something like that. And we have my man. We're going to get into them. I have a couple of things I want to talk to, but we have somebody else who's not afraid to say it. We have my man, Councilman, Rochelle Councilman Jared Rice, who is the first Westchester elected official to endorse Bernie Sanders for president and Hillary Clinton's adopted county. So when we say this is the show that's not afraid to say it, that's what we're talking about.
This ain't Hillary Clinton's county at all.
Adopted.
Not even adopted.
I mean, she lives in Westchester County.
So what?
I'm just saying. So
That's just for political reasons.
I'm just saying. So
We
usually
gonna talk about all that.
Usually I go into the whole thing and tell Damon what you did this week. I just want to say something. So we had this illegal towing scam going on in the Food Bazaar parking lot in Mount Vernon. And you can read about it all right now. BlackWestchester.com is on the front page. And basically what they're doing, and see, this is our job. Caller, please hold. We're not taking no calls right now. We're not taking no calls right now, so please hold.
It might not be our show. Just pick up.
People Before Politics. Okay, hey, hold on. We're not taking. Okay.
But she can't listen on that line.
718-705-4945.
Tell her download. She got an iPhone. She can download the app.
71. Yeah, she called. Okay, so anyway, sorry about that. You know, it's a live radio. So anyway, so basically. So basically, we had an illegal towing operation, and this is our job as radio hosts. Is our job as having a publication to be the voice of the community, In Mount Vernon, we have a tow truck company called Borderline Towing and Recovery. What they doing is they come up in the parking lot. Sometimes whether you're legally parked or illegally parked, they come in and they lift up your car and they get back into the truck and they wait for 45 minutes if they have to till you come back out. And be like, yo, my car, and say, yo, $125 or $100 if you want your car back. First thing, illegally towed or legally towed, $65 is the maximum that they can charge. That's the first thing. Just know
in Mount Vernon,
they cannot charge you more than $65. That's the first thing. Secondly, this is the process. If you illegally parked, they're supposed to pick you up. They're supposed to go to the police department, register your car, and then take it to their spot. and then you pay the $65 and you might have to pay like the $10 per day situation. You know what I'm saying? And you know for how many days you're there, but they're bypassing the police. They bypassing the paperwork. They getting people for whatever they can get them for. And then when you say, yo, I ain't got $125, if you had as little as $40, they taking it real quick. They lowering it, and they jetting, no paperwork. That's free cash. They not paying no taxes. I'm throwing them under the bus.
But with a lot of money, probably.
Yeah.
Wait. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Wasn't Butch Thomas supposed to come on the show today?
Okay, yeah, we'll deal with that. That wasn't going to happen, but we'll deal with that. But he first said that he was coming on the show. He was going to face you man to man. Y'all was going to have it out, and at the end, y'all was going to piece it up like men. But the problem is the statement there is like men, and a man would have came here and he would have faced you, and talked about you and your wife and everything on Facebook. So we're not even going to talk about.
But I just know. I'm just making the statement clear so people that listen. Butch was supposed to come on the show today, and we were supposed to discuss the issues that we have live.
But Butch Thomas gets no mention on the show.
No. After this is over, after this the discussion, I just want to say one thing because I'm missing a face.
Right, okay,
in this group right here. That's all I'm saying.
I just want to say this: LeBron James does not argue with the bench player on the other team. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
So that's it.
Like, I get it. Only thing I'm saying is that there was a seat that was empty.
Right.
You know, these young ladies have taken the seat.
Okay.
They got more courage than.
But I'm just saying, dude.
You know, but there's a seat that was empty.
You're the LeBron James of your team, and he's on the bench. So there's no need we don't have to have this conversation. So anyway, so like we were saying, so we bring the truth to light, and we deal with the situations in the community, and this is one of the things that's going on. And we're gonna do a follow-up. We caught them yesterday. They held this man up, you know what I'm saying? They after Councilman Wallace approached him and told him that it was illegal to charge him that much money, he charged him $60.
Big up to Councilman Wallace. Give Councilman Wallace a hand. We gotta give Councilman Wallace a great up hand. Hiding in the bushes, looking for illegal towing. I mean, real city councilman.
But the real story is though, it wasn't just that he pulled up and hung out in Fruit Bazaar. It was cold the other night. He parked his car and walked away and went around. It was trying to told me he was trying to get towed and was gonna pay the money. And then you got you. You know what I'm saying? So that's real talk. You know, he just swore in, just a week ago. You know, and he's already on the job. So anyway,
we had an issue like that in New Rochelle, not so much with towing, but with booting. So we created this new law that heavily regulated them. So now you have to have ID, you have to have a credit card machine available, you have to go through background checks, and you go to court. Like, we take you to court if you don't follow the procedure A to Z. So
I think that's going to start coming. I mean, Councilman Wallace is going to be calling you soon anyway.
I'm quite sure. But so let me tell you. One last thing. So we had a couple of comments. I appreciate all the good comments we got. People thanking us and all that stuff. You had one comment from a gentleman in Fleetwood. He was like, "Yo, it's not just Food Bazaar. They doing that in the Broad Street Garage too here in Fleetwood, and they've been doing it for over a year and a half." I'm like, "Yo, dude is." They getting it. You know what I'm saying? They just the whole thing is they're just jacking you up, waiting for you, getting your money, putting you down, and breaking out. And a lot of people, if they have the $100-something, they're like, they don't want their car taken away. You don't want to have to go through all that other stuff. You're gonna just be like, here. You know what I'm saying? Put my car down, and you want to pay it, and might not even question it, because a lot of those times, like yesterday, the dude was illegally parked. So he should have been towed. You know what I'm saying? But,
on private parking.
With the sign, he parked under the sign that said no parking. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you can see I have the picture where he's parked. So we're not even saying that he shouldn't have been towed. No, he should have been towed, but he should have been towed. His car should have been taken to the parking lot.
Yeah, I just while you're dealing with that, I want to first of all, Black Westchester and People for Politics condolence to the family of Dr. Bill Carter, who passed away just recently. we just want to send our condolences. You know, I mean, we have
Absolutely.
an article on Black Westchester about our brother Bill Carter and the work that he has done in the Greenburgh, White Plains community, the Westchester community, and you know, we are going to miss a giant among the African American community in White Plains, Greenburgh, and Westchester, New York State. The last time I can speak of myself, the last time I had an opportunity to be around brother before, you know, the rumors of him being sick was when we spoke down at the United Nations.
That's the last time we both saw him. Actually, that's when I met him.
Yeah, we spoke down at the United Nations discussing racism in the criminal justice system to prepare the southern state of New York to prepare their report for the Geneva Convention. So, you know, and I think I posted it on my Facebook page, the actual video of everybody speaking. But, you know, just to see my brother speak on the issues in the community, you know, and people that want to watch it, they could go on my page, and we got to put that link up on Black Westchester so they could you know, see why. I mean, you just hear his words and hear his strength. You know, you see why he was loved in the community. So, you know, we just I just want to make sure that, you know, people recognize this brother, and I'm still waiting on the information of the actual services.
Yeah, we didn't get that. We didn't get that yet. But, so I just want to say, and I want to say, and I wrote this in at the end of the thing. We gave him a little tribute. Yo, you know, one thing my mom used to say. My mom's passed. My mom would say, yo, I want my flowers while I'm alive. And, you know, we do community spotlights and stuff. And and sometimes we always, you know, you always think everybody think, you know, we got all this time left. And he's definitely a brother that I definitely wanted to do a spotlight on, and we never got a chance to, like, give him his accolades while he's here. You know what I'm saying? So I tried to, you know, pay a tribute the best way I could. And, you know, not just for me, I got everybody, a lot of people who knew him, you know, White Plains City Council, Nadine, Sandy Bernardaby, the Anti-Racism Alliance, Kenneth Chamberlain, the Greenburgh Superintendent. It's like everybody just came pouring out their, you know, their respect. And the one thing that everybody always said, like, yo, everybody was like, yo, to meet him is to love him. You know what I'm saying? He always put a smile on your face, and he was just always there. And even the Greenburgh town supervisor, Paul Finer, was like, yo, not only was he the kind of guy to put a smile on your face, he was always the kind to do something to help you, you know, do something to better your quality of life. You know what I'm saying? No matter who you was, that he came in contact with. So, you know, with all giants in the community like that, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times when they pass, there's a void to be filled. So all of us that he ever spoke to and sold anything into, now we got to honor him by taking that to the next level and keeping on the work that he did and keep the movement alive. So, you know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
That's what
and before we get into our guests, I want to lead into with a report that it's on Black Westchester. That study shows the increase in deaths due to law enforcement, and it says that there was a 45% net increase in death from a legal intervention. I question that word legal because some of them are not legal. Legal intervention in the U.S. between 1999 and 2013, and then it says that between 1999 and 2013, 507 people were killed each year by quote unquote illegal or other than by illegal execution. The researchers said. So, you know, we have to really pay attention to the relationship between law enforcement and the community, especially in the communities of color, because there is an issue, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, because also I think Congress is blocking them looking at police killings as what they are. I can't think of the word right now, but actually like a health disaster, you know, because so many black and brown people are being killed unjustly and questionable by police throughout the United States. And I think we we need to look at that. And there's a debate tonight too, so we're going to get into that too. But let's once again welcome our guests.
I just want to say one thing about parking real quick before we get on.
Absolutely.
Somebody just text
True
me-
city councilman. True
somebody
city
just text-
councilman.
I know Catherine gonna kill me.
Love it. Are you kidding?
Somebody texted me and said, let them know that the towing company is no longer in the Fleetwood garage since the 42 Broad developers have had Pro Park takeover. So they just want to put that out there. That
Okay, so they got them out of there because
they have something different going on there, and those towers maybe might have been there before. But
Listen, I met the brother. What, Alexander? What's his name?
Mark Alexander.
Mark Alexander.
He's supposed to be coming to the
he's
show.
going to come on the show too. He's coming on the show, and the brother's gangster. You know, he say what he say, and feel you know. And I respect the person that's straight off the cuff. I don't like lying people. I don't care what position they're in. I don't like people that talk two-faced. So I respect the person that's gonna come to you straight up and say what you say, and I respect that guy, Mr. Alexander.
And let me just say, I thank you for that. And while my Fleetwood Citizen Society brothers and sisters are not gonna like that, I guess there was something good that came out of that. We got rid of that dude, right? Because they're not with the garage. They're not with that. I support what they're doing. They not giving up. Shout out to the Fleetwood Citizen Society.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They're always fighting. They're going to fight that to the end. Like they're not going.
Well,
and that's what you should do.
If you believe in something, you fight for it to the end.
Now you know the other people have arguments, and I'm not saying which side is better, but we need more of that. We you know what? If we as people could be as diligent as they are, because like they got together, they formed this committee group. I mean, you know, there's a little community action group or whatever. They gave us our only city council debate, because all the debates was just the mayor's debate. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have never had a city council debate. So they've been holding it down. So I want to give them a shout out. You know, that was a little joke, but you know, they got him out of there though. So now we're gonna get him out of Food Bazaar. And someone else, the gentleman who said that was there, he said we need to review them and see what it takes to get them their contract canceled out of Mount Vernon altogether. So the owner has. The owner has hit me and wants to meet me, and I definitely have some questions for him.
The owner of the tow truck company?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And Andrea texted him and text both of us, and he responded, just so we can be fair. Andrea, thank you. I would love to meet with Ms. A.J. Woodson. If he has any knowledge of wrongdoing by any of my employees/drivers, I would like to be informed of it so I can deal with this matter. I am going to give you the information so that you can deal with the matter. Caller, please hold. I am going to give you the information so you can deal with the matter. I got a picture of him. That if you can't tell who he is, I got a picture of him in the truck, and I got his license plate. I got everything. And if that don't help, I got a picture of his license. So you know what I'm saying? He will be very easy to identify. So you know what I mean? So But for people in Mount Vernon, and this is what I want to say, lastly about the situation. If you have a situation like this, know the city council is dealing with it, and they're trying to deal with it, and now, you know, the word is out with the police department and everything, and so do not use any acts of aggression that can get you in jail.
Just call the city clerk's office.
Call the city clerk's office. If you have it, try to pay it and make sure you get a receipt. If not, the best thing I can tell you is call the cops. You know what I'm saying?
Call the cops.
You know what I'm saying? Like if it's illegal what they're doing, they charge you over $100. Call the police department and just call the cop. And, you know what I'm saying? See if he still want to take it and charge you that $100 when the cop's there, because he's only allowed to charge $65. Real quick, we just gonna make this real brief. Callers, caller number one.
Say the number so they know you're talking about.
I'm not sure which one called first, so I'm calling the caller from the 914 area code. Please state your name and your reason for calling very briefly, please. Okay, moving on.
Hang up.
No, moving on. Caller number 2 from the 646 area code. Please welcome to People Before Politics. Please state your name and your purpose for calling, please, briefly.
Councilman Wallace.
I thought that was okay. We just spoke you up. Oh yes, we just spoke you up, sir. So
yeah, I happen to be listening to the show, and you know, every time I hear something that I feel can help our city, I got to jump on it right away. So Councilman Rice, I'm looking forward to sitting down with you and and looking at how New Rochelle tightened up their restrictions. So I don't have to recreate the wheel. I know you'll help me with that, brother, and we will then tighten up Mount Vernon's restriction on this nonsense that's going on here.
Yeah, we got to collaborate. It goes both ways. So I'll shoot you an email with our legislation, and you guys can take it from there. And this should be something introduced by you.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate that. Because I know you guys, I love working with you guys over there, too, as well. And I think we have a good working relationship. So we're going to continue it. We're going to continue
so sweet.
Just so
brotherly love.
Just so we know why we have both of them here. So Andre Wallace was instrumental, one of the people I believe that Councilman Rice reached out to when President Obama issued the My Brother's Keeper initiative. And I want to get into the reason they're here, but we're going to mention this real quick. And they had a public meetings. Andre Wallace went and helped, and I was there too for one of the meetings. I didn't make a lot of them, but I was there for one of them. Oh. And I covered it. And Andre Wallace was instrumental to helping them, and he said once we help get it established in New Rochelle, maybe New Rochelle can help us get it established in Mount Vernon. So what a lot of times we have in Westchester, when something happens in Yonkers, you be like, oh, that's Yonkers, that don't affect me in Mount Vernon, or that's New Rochelle, that don't affect me in Yonkers. You know what I'm saying? There's a situation with Mount Vernon and Yonkers, who back when I played, when I was in high school, did not get along very well, because you know what I'm saying, like it got to the point that Mount Vernon high school and New Rochelle high school games had to be played at the county center with only 50 students each allowed from each school because the fights were so bad. It was like, it wasn't even about the game no more. It was about who won the fifth quarter. You know what I'm saying? Like it was really that gutter. So it's good to see Mount Vernon and New Rochelle working together. You know what I mean? That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead, y'all. Go ahead, Andre.
Well, I look at it in a way where all of the different municipalities, cities, towns, and all of that have some problem that they've worked on. And when you look at those things and they have already solved that issue, it's no sense of us going all through it to figure out how to solve it. We just call over to that municipality like I do with Councilman Rice and say, Rice, how did you solve this, and can you help us over here? So it's all about collaborating throughout the whole Westchester County to bring the best pieces of everything to Mount Vernon for our citizens, because they deserve it. That's what they elected us to do. So we have to go out there and do the work. We got to find the stuff. We have to be able to reach out to all other politicians and elected officials and try to make sure we bring the best back to our city.
Now, real quick, before this becomes the Bernie Sanders show, and it's going to be all Bernie, all Sanders, all the time in a minute. You know what I'm saying? So before we do that, Andre, is there anything briefly that you would like to say about the tow truck incident, about the article, about the joint investigation between Councilman Wallace and Black Westchester, or anything like that you would like to share with the public?
Well, I'll just first like to say I'm glad we ran into them yesterday, because I was getting tired of sitting in the parking lot every day after work looking for these guys. But with that being said, there's a lot more things that we have to do. We are going to be looking into this. I'll be reaching out on Tuesday to Mayor Thomas to update him on this particular thing and make sure he's on board and up to speed with what's going on in our town. And from there, we could all collaborate, work together. And now that we have Councilman Rice, who'll be sending over some legislation, I could get with the rest of the council members, work together and try to put this in place. Because right now, what's happening to the citizens of Mount Vernon is wrong. I don't appreciate people preying on our community. And this kind of stuff doesn't happen in some of the surroundings. You think this would happen in Bronxville or Pelham or Eastchester? Why do we let it happen here? Those days are over. We can't allow that stuff to be happening in our community anymore, period.
Absolutely. And Mount Vernon got such a reputation where people figure they can do whatever, the NYPD, whoever, just come through and do what you want to do. And talking about the NYPD, Councilman Rice also represents a family who the NYPD came in, just about kicked their door down, violated them, you know what I'm saying, their rights, didn't have a search warrant, and he's representing that family.
Waiting on the CCRB results.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, he you know. We got to up the quality, you know, we got to up the standards and not allow these people. We have to give them a reason though. And if like, yo, we were on Ernie Davis' show on Thursday, and one thing I had said, you ever go to somebody's house and their kitchen is immaculate, and you spill something, like you breaking your neck to clean that up. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But if you go to somebody's house and their house is a mess, like you just, okay, and you might just keep it moving. You know, unfortunately, we got to keep it real. And in a lot of ways, Mount Vernon is a mess. So, you know, we have to clean it up ourselves and give people a reason to respect us. And we have to earn that respect that we demand, and then demand it. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
So that means, and that's not just the elected officials. That's the people listening. That's the voters. That's the homeowners. That's the people that just live there. You know what I'm saying? So we have to pick up our quality and take care of our like one person. In the debate, it didn't get over good, and people kind of laughed. Ernie, but it made sense. David said, "Yo, if you see trash on the ground in front of where you live, you don't walk over it and keep it like you. I mean, it's Mount Vernon, it's your city. You know what I'm saying? We all got to clean up. You know what I'm saying? But if you got trash all over the place, when people come through, they gonna drop their trash too in front of your house because everybody else trash there.
Absolutely,
you know so,
absolutely.
They gonna dump their dirt in your. Dump their dirt in your unfinished stadium that ain't been finished for a long time in Memorial Field. I mean, you know, so you know, that's what it is. So
I just want to say one last thing before I get off. You know, because I know the Bernie Sanders show is coming up.
It's the Bernie Sanders show. All Bernie, all Sanders,
when
all
you
the
gonna
time.
feel the burn?
You heard Councilman Rice said, when you gonna feel the burn?
What was that?
When you gonna feel the burn? He said, he's trying to get you to feel the burn.
Don't worry. You know, I'm feeling close with Larry Davis right now. It's sad, you know, but we'll get to the talk about that, and then we'll move forward with that.
Okay.
And I told Councilman Rice we'll have a discussion on that stuff and look at that. But what I wanted to say, AJ, because you know what's going on as well, and you see some of the things people are saying on the site, and some folks are getting a little bit upset with how I'm approaching things and doing things because they're not used to us doing things the right way.
That's right.
So the bottom line I'm saying to them is, you know, don't feel bad, you know, because more of it is coming. Okay. And if you was listening to my platform as I ran, you would already know I was going to do this. I did not waver from what I said I was going to do. Everything I said I'm going to do as far as working towards term limits, as far as working towards bringing down the cost of our taxes and what the citizens are paying and the actual fleecing of Mount Vernon,
wait,
all of those things.
You trying to be term limits? You're not trying to be in office for 20 years like everybody else? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, man. I want to do my job and go home.
Yes,
you know, I got other things I want to do with my life.
That's the usual political scam to stay in 20, 30 years to get a.
And that really wasn't a knock at nobody. That was just a joke. But we do have some people.
Hey, some people, some people do it. I ain't talking about the two councilmen that we have here, but there's some people do it, and there's some people have intentions on doing it, and I think term limits is needed in Mount Vernon. I think districts are needed in Mount Vernon. I think there are a lot of things that are actually needed in Mount Vernon that we could get out of the Stone Ages and have a city that actually represents all the people. All the people.
David, you know what's the funniest thing about this? I never in my life visioned being in politics. Ever, but every now that I have
we gotta call you out. That's Shanice listening that didn't want people to know, but she keep making noise. So that's Shanice in the background. No, go ahead.
Yeah, but well, it's people like that who got behind me. That's why I'm here now.
That's right.
And keep on pushing me, into this. But what's funny about it, what I find about it, maybe it might respond, it might come up with Councilman Rice in the same exact way, because we have a conversation about this sometimes. You know, you have the people behind you that push you into these things. You never see that you would be here, but then you get family members and friends later on that were like, that was you. You should have been there a long time ago. That's what you're supposed to do.
Oh yeah, they'd be like, oh yes, I always believed in you. Those are the ones that say don't run. Now we got to switch over. We go. Y'all are welcome to listen and stay on and listen. We're about to switch to the Bernie Sanders show, but I wanted to say, Damon, I wanted to say what I told Andre earlier on the phone. Everybody was like, yo, Andre, that's that cool dude. Yo, we like Andre. Understand, you're not about to be. Wait, but you understand, in everybody's eyes in a minute, you might not just be cool, Andre. You can be like, oh, that over there every time, because you about to do some stuff that people don't like. So you might not be cool, Andre. And some people, you gonna walk in some rooms, they gonna be like, oh, here come Andre.
But one thing, but that's a good thing. Well, one thing before you go, Andre, you know what you're doing, and like you said, and I've said it for a long time. You know, a lot of people in Mount Vernon has never seen a normally functioning government. See, when you're not used to a normally functioning government.
Oh, that's how we do it in Mount Vernon.
Right. You hear people say, well, this is Mount Vernon. Well, this is Mount Vernon. No. You know,
it don't have to be.
It doesn't have to be that way, and you shouldn't just settle because that's the norm and that's the functioning norm. Because the norm is really not normal. It's only normal to people that's used to it.
Well, you know, dysfunction became the new normal.
Absolutely.
Dysfunction became the new normal.
So
we want to change that.
So what we're saying is that keep doing what you're doing, keep addressing the issues of the people, and the more people see that you're fighting for their causes, not just for a certain group, not just for a certain person, you know, the people will continue to be behind you. So don't even worry about that. Keep on doing what they elected you to do.
We want to thank Councilman Wallace for all that he's doing, and we just want to say, you know, it's about to be a new day. You know what I'm saying? And Mount Vernon is on the rise, and we have to get behind our politicians. We have to check them when they don't do right, and we gotta hold their feet to the fire. But we have to get behind our politicians. So I thank you what you're doing, because you're also bringing unity together. Mm-hmm. So with that said, I just want to give you your official props for joint, bringing us into the tow truck sting, the collaborative joint effort tow truck sting. You know, and keep doing what you're doing, brother.
All right, now.
Thank you so much, and I want to hear. I need to hear Jared. So let's get this on the road.
Yeah,
come on, Jared. Let me hear about Bernie and what's going on, baby.
Yeah. I'm about to go in, and I'm about to mute y'all. All right.
You got it.
And brother Jared, I need you to take that mic and put it in front of your face and talk into it, because I've gotten 3 people saying, but we can't hear Jared loud enough. So it ain't that you're not turned up. It's just that they can't hear you because you ain't talking into the mic.
You gotta get the mic in your
face, I got a lot
bro.
to say. So let me break it down.
Okay, no. We got an official.
We're not there. I'm about to.
And I know your first name, so I'm gonna let Jared. We have Councilman Jared Rice, New Rochelle Councilman, sworn in for a 2nd term and as Deputy Mayor for 2016.
Correct.
All right. We have here again. I say it again. The first, not African American, the first. Not in New Rochelle, the first elected official in Westchester County to go on the record and publicly endorse Bernie Sanders for president, and what is known as Hillary's adopted county, because she lives here. So, you know, you got all the women, everybody's like, oh, Hillary. So it's a bold move. And I'm going to tell you, and I said this, I didn't say it to you though, yo, it's a good thing that you already got elected, because you might have a hard time with that if you was running in November. Yo, that might hurt a little bit, but it's a bold move. And I want you to introduce who you brought with you, and then we about to get started.
Okay, so this is Katherine Brezler. She works with People for Bernie, and I will say that everything that's happening with me is all her fault, right? She was the one from the beginning. She would send me on Facebook, hey, Jared, what about Bernie? I'm talking about way back, like in the summer. Jared, what's up with Bernie? This and that. I'm like, hey, you know, it's a long time. Let me weigh my options a bit. I didn't know who was running. I didn't know if Biden was going to get it. And I didn't know who else would come out the woodworks. And as we started getting closer to the end of the year, obviously we're starting to hear more about these candidates, and for whatever reason, the media, up until maybe about a week or two ago, they just would not talk about Bernie Sanders. So how are you supposed to know about him? Like, you're not
Right.
Yeah, like you just see him, and when you see him, he's not like somebody who you would think is somebody who would just captivate the entire nation. And until you really start,
well, let me stop you. Let me say, you think that Donald Trump has shown when you say things.
Yeah.
Well, look, he said some stuff. He said after the Tamir Rice thing, after grand jury came back, he was like, yo, the federal government need to investigate the Tamir Rice thing.
Yeah.
And then he said, he was bold, and he said, America need to apologize for slavery. Didn't he say something like that? He said, yo,
yes, he did.
Yo, for real, like, that begs to be talked about. Like, I'm just saying, so he you know, and I believe he probably mean those things, but I'm saying that's why they're talking now, you know.
That's why they're talking. And without further ado, I would like to introduce Katherine, who really has been a driving force, not only in Westchester, not only New York, but nationally for this movement. And when Bernie was at 1%, 2% in the polls, she was right there. And she was pushing his message. And because of her, I took notice. And now I just feel a little bit more emboldened and courageous to go out and speak his message as well. But Katherine really is the one who deserves so much credit for a lot of the work that she did when it really wasn't cool at all to be Bernie Sanders.
That's so ridiculously, incredibly kind of you, Jared. Because I'm not sure I would describe our conversations. It's just like, you know, there were mad Facebook threads that went on for days. There were tweets that went back and forth. I would catch them somewhere and be like, oh, you remember that time that we did that thing, and that might have been like some reason that you should be thinking about Bernie right now. But honestly, Jared has really inspired me. He would sit down and have long conversations and thoughtful questions about why I was doing it. And, you know, we could talk at length about why Bernie does something, but I think it's more incredible and impactful to talk about why Jared feels the burn, why I feel the burn. You know, I'm a former Yonkers teaching assistant.
Educator, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I got a job finally as a full-fledged teacher in the Bronx. And I can't tell you, I've told Jared this before, what it would mean to me to walk into my classroom and say, you're all going to college, no matter what.
That's right.
The idea that I can't say that is a travesty. That's why I feel burned. That's some of the thing that keeps me going. I've got, you know, some former students with me. And
Now I was going to ask you, I want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
And we love when young people come on a show called People Before Politics, and for whatever reason. So I wanted to know who the two young ladies in the corner are sitting there smiling, what their names is and who they are.
Jamaica, come over here, say hi. Go speak into a mic. Say hello.
Hi, my name is Jamaica Holmes, and I'm a student at Roosevelt High School.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, my name is Angel Mora, and I'm a student at Buffalo State College.
Hey.
All right.
And that's for both of y'all.
That's what I'm talking about.
So let me ask, 'cause you know what? And I just want to do this if y'all don't mind real quick. We always talk about what we should do for the youth and what programs the youth need, and no one asks the youth. So if you know, what things do you
Let him speak.
What things are you not? What things would you like to see change, either in your city or in the state or in the country? What things are you not satisfied with? That if you could get if you could get these things, what would you want? If a politician said, "Yo, I'm about to do all this stuff or whatever, what do you want?" and he could make it happen, what would you tell him?
I
And
think
you
they
can step
need
up to a
to
little bit.
invest in our
And say your
schools.
name real quick.
My name is Jamaica Holmes.
Okay, go ahead.
I think that if I could tell them what they should do, I would tell the politicians in the state that they need to invest in our schools again. I've had the opportunity to be president of my class and PTA co-president.
Wow.
So I've got to see the things that go on behind closed doors, and I got to see the lack of funding and the lack of care that actually goes into programs. Like our sports were threatened last year, and I'm a 3-season athlete. So could you imagine me not being able to play sports? And kids don't really have the drive to go to school anymore. So that's my reason to go to school. I know I'm the top of my class, so I'm going to go to school regardless. But there are kids who don't have the drive that I have. So they go to school for art and for sports. They're not just going to go, I understand the reason for education, but not everyone else does.
Right.
And it's not fair that kids are forced to just go to school just for school. Because if you go to Pelham or to Bronxville or to Scarsdale, those kids have art, they have sports, they have everything else that Yonkers Public Schools does not
Probably
have.
got choir and stuff. I mean,
Right.
yeah.
And Yonkers, I live in Southwest Yonkers, like off of South Broadway. So over there, like next to Getty Square, you see a lot of homeless people and a lot of kids that my parents went to high school with, and they're like, oh wow, they're on the streets now. And there's no support program for them now. A college degree is the new high school diploma, and kids don't even make it that far because they don't have the support system, the basics, the fundamentals.
Let's just go over that one more time.
Say that again.
What did she just say to you? Because that's a 17-year-old.
Right, I was about to ask you how old you are.
The presence of mind and also the awareness to fully grasp that a bachelor's degree is the new high school diploma.
Yes.
And we can't even offer them that.
Absolutely. So one more time so they hear from you. Say that again.
A college degree is the new high school diploma.
Wow.
And
That's right.
I understand that I'll be able to go to college, but it's sad that a lot of my friends won't be able to go to college because they didn't have the same motivation or the same drive or the same influence and support as I did.
Absolutely.
I've been able to involve myself in different programs like Yonkers Partners Education, and I'm on PTA, and I'm the president of my class and the captain of 3 teams. But not a lot of kids have that independent drive to do what I do, or the support from their parents or teachers or people like Kat to do what I'm doing, you know?
Right.
So kids are just sitting around. They don't have any motivation to go to school or do anything, and everybody's just looking like, oh, these kids don't want nothing for themselves, don't want anything for themselves.
Right.
But nobody's trying to even understand the small parts of why don't they want to go to school? Why don't they have the support systems like everybody else who's going to college and things like that, you know?
Right. Absolutely. And the young lady over here, I'd like to get you a couple of words.
I think she said it all.
She said it all. You don't have nothing to say. But
She
now, you know, and it's important. I just wanted to do that first. Let me give y'all a round of applause. I just wanted to do that because a lot of people look at your generation as thugs, as baby mamas, as a whole bunch of things we won't even say here. You hear it. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear more young ladies and more kids your age talking like you talking. And I didn't even know that. I just gave you the mic. But I'm just saying, I'm so glad we did, because the world needs to hear that. Because the media does not portray your generation as what you're talking. And the media does not know that there are you out there. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you see the worst of our element. You see it in our rap music. You see it in our videos. You see it in our movies. There's every hood, you know, stereotype and everything. You know what I'm saying? The baddest thing is, you know, a lot of times you do need money, but they got us doing it, making us look bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? They paying us to discredit us. You know what I'm saying? So to hear you, like, that's so refreshing, and the world needs to hear stuff like that. So I hope this encouraged you to speak more. You know what I'm saying? And to... the way you do that, you're empowering your generation for other people to be like, oh, I want to be more like that. You know what I'm saying? Because when you see something, that's what we do. We see something either really, really cool or something, you want to be like that, or really, really bad or whatever, you want to be like that. I hope that they aspire to be more like you. So, you know, we just want to say, yes. So thank you for coming. And I will turn it back over to Kat now. And why did you bring them? Explain why you brought them with you and everything.
Well...
I mean, that's hearing how I understand what, you know. and if that was your influence on her, like, I give you applause. I don't know, does that, yo.
She inspires me all day, every day, and the way that she keeps up is remarkable. But she also reminds me how little we're preparing our next generation for the world that exists in front of them. And I'm constantly trying to better my practice as a teacher and as an activist to do justice to the world. That's a double-edged sword. A teacher and an activist. Those are wild. Yeah. Our co-host, who's not here, she's an educator and an activist. You know what I'm saying? She shut down the Brooklyn Bridge. She do all that stuff. You know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Same. So she would really, really like you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we might have been in the same place a couple times.
Yeah. Cynthia Turnquest Jones. If you see her picture, you might, you know. But she gets down, so that reminds me of her. So shout out to her. Go ahead.
Hi, shout out to you wherever you are.
Cynthia Turnquest Jones. Yeah. Go ahead.
We can scarcely imagine the world that exists in 5 and 10 years ahead of us. The students I have to teach or plan to teach for are existing in a world that's 20, 30, 60 years in the future, and trying to give them the scaffolding, the tools to set them up for success is a struggle. And
especially when they're cutting school back more and more. What amazes me,
All right.
they take
go ahead.
Okay, so just so y'all know, and y'all not aware of this, Damien is always hot, and usually Cynthia sits right there, and sometimes we'll have a fur coat on because he has the thing on, and they go back and forth, and they have this, and she's not here to do that, so I'm bringing that up for her, the little interaction. But go ahead, I'm sorry. Oh, what I was saying. Go ahead, because I forgot.
I don't think that your zip code should be a measure of the school that you go to.
Right.
With our current situation, property taxes are the driving force behind the economic balance for our schools. I don't think that we can sustain that and be competitive in a global world or even live up to the standard that we have.
Right.
Reasons why, I feel the burn, because I know that there will be a more focused energy on education and not incarceration. I know.
Now that's the point I was trying to make before we did the air conditioning thing. More money goes each year. Less money gets cut from schools. You know what I'm saying? I find it hard to believe. Like I was a kid. I was a cool kid, but I was kind of a cool nerd. See, people didn't understand that you could be cool, but you can be a bookworm. You know what I'm saying? So, but I was never the dude you ever see carry books. But I had 2 sets of books. One was at home, and I always did my homework, and one was in my locker. So you just never saw me walking. You just saw, when I was hanging with the kids, you just assumed I was a knucklehead like everybody else. I say that to say, now, I don't know about everywhere else, but in Mount Vernon, they have one book that the teacher uses for all her classes, and they got to, print pages out. I had 2 copies I had 2 books. But they have one book, so each student doesn't even have a book. You know what I'm saying? Like, you zero copy and, pages. Come on, is it, they put on in Cecil Parker where we do the thing. Well, the young lady that lives in the house, she's a Longfellow now. I forgot what the new name of it is. Their school list supplies included toilet paper.
I send
do you hear what I'm saying? Like, my school supplies consisted of pens and paper. Yeah, toilet paper, soap, hand sanitizer, and wipes and
dry erase markers, pencils, erasers.
So you're not just bringing in the necessities that you need. You are actually bringing in supplies for the school. Like, are we really at that point? Like,
I can't tell you how many teachers I know.
But we spend more and more and more money to build prisons and build up prisons.
Right. And on that, right? The thing with Bernie, it's similar to 8 years ago, but it's not the same. And this is just my advantage. This is what I see. With Obama, it was more the person, and he was more of the celebrity. With Bernie, it's more of the ideas, and it's more of the issues, right? So the first issue that really caught my attention, that really showed a contrast between him and Hillary Clinton, was with incarceration and prisons. And he proposed a law where he said, I'll ban private prisons, right? There shouldn't be
You got banning privatizing the prisons. I think that was a round of applause. There was a round of applause moment there.
Yeah, first being driving.
And he's saying there shouldn't be a financial incentive to lock people up, but that's what happens when prisons are privatized. And
judges should not be allowed to invest in the stock of the jail or something.
Correct.
So keeping the jail full means more money coming for the jail.
Correct.
And you have stock in the jail, so you have more incentive to lock more people up and give them the maximum charge, to keep them there as long. Come on now. I mean,
Hillary Clinton accepted a lot of money from these private prisons, and
her husband, who I voted for,
we all did,
has apologized. You can see it on Black Westchester for being responsible for the mass incarceration of black men because of the laws that he passed.
And that was my first issue, just with the criminal justice, and that right there, that really opened my eyes as to what the potential is for us moving forward. We are finishing the second term of our president, and we need to move on. And how we move on? Do we become more progressive? Do we become more conservative? Do we become more status quo? Do we become more establishment? And what they say is it's time for a political revolution, and I agree with that. I think that the corporations these days hold way too much power, and income inequality is such that we have to do something. And when you think about black people, right, income inequality, we've been dealing with this since slavery, and we've been trying to catch up since slavery, and it's getting worse now. The gulf is widening, and we just need to do something. And I appreciate the fact that Bernie Sanders is saying these things, and I heard him speak in person about Wall Street a couple weeks ago, and he was saying all these things, and then afterwards we were talking, and one of the senators who was with him said, you know, you're going to start needing some protection because you're saying these things, and a lot of people aren't going to like what they're hearing, and his words are powerful, and he's energizing millions of people, and because of that, I'm wholeheartedly on his side, and I'm going to do whatever I can to see that his vision lives on.
That's what's up. And I wonder, when Katherine was talking, and we were talking about education, we was talking about that, I definitely wanted you to tie that into Bernie and how that, what his views are on that, and explain that, you know, like you said, why he inspired, why he provoked your support.
I think that we all come to our field burn moments differently. For me, I've been a fan since undergrad, which is why, you know, I was with him at 1% and why I was in Vermont for the announcement. I'm an anti-war person. That's where my activism comes from. I think that a lot of people come to movements like these through anti-war activism, because there can't be profit in going to kill black and brown people across the world.
Right.
And that's directly tied to our prison industrial complex.
Agreed.
That's directly tied into what you were saying of the militarization of the police in our neighborhoods and the rise of the police violence. Like, enough is enough is enough is enough. I can't even say it enough.
That's right.
I'm tired of hearing how easy it is for kids to talk about a neighbor, a friend, an uncle getting shot. I'm tired of looking at young boys in my class and worrying about them. And I'll just share a story.
By all means. By all means.
I had a 12-year-old, 6'3" black man in my 8th grade class.
12-year-old and 6'3"?
Yeah, he
Jesus
was.
Christ.
Josh, I don't know if he's tuned in tonight or if he's working a double out there, but he was huge. And for the people sitting next to me, they know that I'm only 5 foot. So that's an incredibly towering man over me,
big
that
boy.
I would. But he wasn't a man; he was a boy.
Right.
Let's not get it. Let's not make any mistakes there. That's a 12-year-old boy, and he would tap me on the top of my head when I would ask him to sit down, and I'd be like, "But Josh, sit down," and he'd say, "But Ms. Brezler, I didn't choose this body. Don't be mad at me." And that was incredibly powerful for me to hear as a young white woman coming into an urban area, teaching children of color. A reminder to me of my place and his place.
Right.
I think that we all have a lot of work to do, unpacking our racial over and undertones that we've learned for I've been alive for 3 decades, but the system has been set up to teach us it. Right. I had to teach kindergartners the other day about MLK, And
I just want to say, Cynthia, when they had the movie Selma, I think they took a lot of the students, and it was a shame because a lot of them did not know who Martin Luther King was. Some say, was he a president or something? They did not really know. They did not really know who he was, and the few that did know who he was, all they knew was that he had a dream.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. That's the guy that had the dream.
Yeah, they most of them didn't know who he was, and I was saying, and the ones who did know, the only thing they knew was that he had a dream one day. Like, what was special? We all dream. Like, what I'm saying? Like, so it's a shame that we're not, and one thing, Cynthia, because she's not here, her father, she got not only educated, in school, her family educated her. They encouraged her to keep reading, and so she knows a lot of the stuff in history that they don't teach in school. You know what I'm saying? And we're missing that in the households as well. So I just want to say that because she always brings that up, and she's not here. So go ahead.
Thanks for bringing that up. And so the kindergartners that I had to explain this to, they asked me, what means hate? Because they're Dominican, so the verb agreement is a little bit off.
Right.
What means hate, Ms. Brezler? And to have to look at a 5-year-old and explain what means hate. You know, it's a lot. I'd like to introduce them to a world that is unpacking the hate and not doubling down on it, like we see some politicians doing.
Absolutely.
I think if everybody isn't actively engaged in that process, in that, and not in an appropriation kind of way, in a way that you have to be an active listener, actively engaged in helping people empower their brothers and sisters and themselves in the struggle.
I want to say two things. We're discussing Bernie Sanders. You're on the People Before Politics radio show. For those who are actually on the website, and I promise I'm going to do it every week, there's a chat room. We are in the chat room. If you want to engage, you can ask questions or whatever. Get into the chat room on the inthemixradio.com site. And also, if you have a question or concern or comment about Bernie Sanders, please feel free to call 705-4959 and ask our guest, about Bernie. So,
I got a question for those, for those who are listening, that are hardcore Democrats. We live in Westchester County. It's a
Wait, hold up. We in Mount Vernon. Is there anything other than the Democrat? That's the only thing, right?
There's other people. No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was other parties.
I said Westchester County. I said Westchester County. There are certain cities that are majority Democrats. But there are certain cities that are like New Rochelle and different places that have it's a blend. It's more of a two.
You have a chance, and I think Jared said it last time I was here. You can't be so far out there because you have to be more in the middle because they go back. I mean, I don't want to.
You got compromise.
Yeah.
Right. You have to. There has to be some. Well, anyway, what I'm saying is that, as far as Westchester, they like to brag that they, 2-1 registered, blah 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 blah. But it's still a conservative type of county because Astorino won twice, and
with
people with the help of Democrats, with the help of Democrats, with the help of black pastors and black people. Let's not get it twisted. This Republican won on black votes. So let's not, dude, you got one of the biggest pastors in Westchester County, Reverend Richardson, was the co-chair of Democrats for Astorino.
But let's also not get it twisted that he still only turned out like
no
percentage of the vote.
And you're right.
If people came out to vote, if they felt like their representation was going to lend their voice to them and their feelings.
You're 100% right. What I'm saying is
the establishment.
What will Bernie, his message to Westchester, because all politics is local. His message to Westchester, bring the people that will probably go to Hillary. And I watch News 12, and they're in Chappaqua, they're interviewing the nice Chappaqua people, and I'm a Republican, but I think I'm still going to vote for Hillary because she lives here. But so what? This is the crap. This is the crap you see on TV.
On the policy mark, right there.
This is the crap that we see on TV, mainstream media. So when Bernie comes to Westchester, what is his message to those who live in Westchester? Say, hey, listen, I know she lives here. But when you put me in office, I'll be fighting for people in Westchester.
And I want to say one thing before you answer that question. Putting a message out there, Black Westchester, the first person in Westchester to talk about Bernie Sanders and People Before Politics. And when Bernie Sanders comes to Westchester, he needs to come on the People Before Politics radio show. I just want to put that out there.
I wouldn't put it past him.
We don't want to see him on WFAS first now.
He needs to come
they ain't even talking Bernie on WFAS.
And have the real conversation, because as you see, we have the real conversations here.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
There are a lot of reasons why people in Westchester should care about this, because Fight for 15 is passing at the state level, but we need a secure way to fight for our unions and our benefits, but we also need to, again, right here in Westchester, we've had in the last 5 years 2 really horrible police brutality cases.
Yes.
One was inside the prison center, and the other one was an entrance into somebody's home completely unlawfully.
Well, actually, it's been 5 since Hillary Clinton has been living in Westchester County.
5.
Kenneth Chamberlain.
And
DJ.
No, Danroy Henry. No, well, wait a minute. Yeah, wait.
Too many hashtags.
Yeah, too many. Yeah, it's too many. It's about, I think it's 4 or 5, and even including, I think she was here when Christopher Ridley. She was living here when Christopher Ridley was killed, Detective Christopher Ridley, and it's been silenced. So our little Chappaqua resident hasn't said anything about the issues of social justice. Haven't said anything about the issue that Westchester is a segregated county, which she lives in. She lives in Chappaqua, one of the cities that was cited by the DOJ.
Say it again.
Cited by the DOJ. So,
And we want to shout out to the 0.00001% of the African Americans that live in
Chappaqua. So, all these issues, all these issues that's going on in Westchester with people of color and poor people, she has not said one thing. She has flown in and flown out. And, let's not be fooled, why she came to Westchester, because there was a seat open, so she could get into the Senate.
And there was an airport not too far from her.
Well, that too. But I'm going to tell a story. The owner of and this shows your mentality of a politician, even at that level. The owner of what's the chicken spot I like to go to? I can't even think of it right now on Central Avenue. The place I like to go eat my chicken, man.
Candlelight?
Okay. Candlelight Inn.
Oh.
The owner of Candlelight Inn. They called him when Hillary Clinton was looking to live in Scarsdale, and they heard about his food, and they wanted to come into the restaurant, but they wanted him to close his restaurant.
Down. Yeah.
He said, "I'm not doing that.
Right.
Either you're going to come in and eat like everybody else, or don't come in at all." See, this shows the mentality. This shows the mentality. You want to shut it down for you to come in and eat instead of coming and see the people that have actually been voting for you and rooting for you for whatever you've done in your career.
And shout to Candlelight.
And shout to Candlelight.
They got great wings.
The best wings in Westchester County.
And the invoices coming in for advertising. So.
The best wings in Westchester. But that shows the mentality. So I think the people are ready for Bernie. I mean, they're ready to hear his message, because we haven't heard anything from Hillary.
Yeah, and I also think he has so many messages, and we could go on and on about every single issue that he's on point with. But the issue that I think also would resonate here, and we spoke about, this is Republicans and Democrats, there's a lot of people, but his message really transcends politics. It transcends partisan politics, and a lot of middle class people who are struggling these days, and they're wondering why they're struggling. They're wondering why their roads aren't fixed. They're wondering why their bridges aren't fixed. He wants to put money into infrastructure, and how is he going to do that? There is a lot of money that's at the top that's just sitting there and getting bigger, that's not being done for anything. And instead of property taxpayers paying those extra sums and going over the tax cap to pay for these basic roads and bridges, that should be federally assisted. And on top of that, we can have people who are working from the communities on these jobs, and it's a win-win, and the money's there to do that, and he knows how to. He's been in the game for long enough to know exactly how to make this work. So that right there is a message. I know I'm in local government, and we struggle every budget figuring out, all right, we have a 2% tax cap. How are we going to pay for everything within this? How are we going to pay for raises for police and fire, which are naturally collective bargains? How are we going to use our CHIP state money? It's only $1.5 million. How are we going to pay for all our roads in New Rochelle? We have to end up getting more and more money, and the federal government's giving us less and less money every year. Our home funds are going down. Our CDBG funds are going down. And we really need to take a hard look at what we're doing infrastructure-wise, and that right there would resonate with so many people, and he says it across the nation, but that's something that Westchester really should take note of.
I just wanted to say something that just came to my mind. It's like, yo, you're doing your job when you run unopposed. Jared ran unopposed. Now that might be different. There may be some Hillary people that might want to put somebody up against you next time.
That's
but
okay.
you know when you're doing your job. Seriously, we had 6 or 7 candidates for every position, and we just had 6 or 7 6 candidates for mayor, and 7 candidates for 2 seats for city council. And it was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous race. And you know what I'm saying? And it was obvious that people wanted change. They wanted to get away with the former administration and the new administration. But you know what? You can't give people what they want because we got a new administration. He ain't did 30 days yet, and everybody, some of his choices may be questionable, but they ready for him to get out almost. Like, you got people coming at him. But, when you run unopposed, I just want to say that's when you might be doing something right. The people might be a little happy with the quality that they're getting in their government. I don't see that much. Like the county legislators do that. Linden ran unopposed, and I think Jenkins might have ran unopposed.
He had a primary.
Huh?
Yeah, he had a primary.
Oh, Jenkins had a primary. Yeah. But Linden.
That was a primary against who?
Ken Jenkins had.
Nicole. Was it Nicole?
No,
Benjamin?
that wasn't a real primary. I like her to death. That wasn't.
And we're not just saying that.
She wasn't. I'm not saying that.
We're not just saying that because she didn't show up on the show.
I'm not.
I'm just saying that we're not just saying that.
I go back and forth. I Nicole Benjamin, love her to death.
She's cool because she
we
supports
still go back and forth
Westchester,
with email, but she was not prepared, and she knows this. She was not prepared to go up against Ken Jenkins. She was not prepared.
I love Ken Jenkins.
I love him too.
I have a very good.
I love him too.
Yeah, good people.
And I know Nicole, but what we should be talking about is a campaign finance system
that
makes it so
that's right
that you don't have to kowtow to whoever's putting money in your coffers.
Right.
And we see that with plenty. And I'm by no means saying that's Ken Jenkins, but there are plenty of other Westchester elected officials who have done favors or.
Can you say that again? Can you just repeat that? Can you just repeat that what you just said?
Westchester elected officials who may be beholden to some development money that may have happened at some point.
Oh, it's still going on now.
Which may have led to some problems that we might be having with affordable housing.
No, we live in Mount Vernon.
Right.
We live in Mount Vernon. We don't have that problem. We don't have that problem. We live in Mount Vernon. We don't have that problem.
No, but you're absolutely correct. And
one of the reasons why Bernie Sanders was so popular as the Burlington mayor was because of what he did with affordable housing. And that is something that really needs to take hold in Westchester. I am sick and tired of all of the affordable housing being in one district.
Well, that
in one city,
and I'm glad you brought that up. And I've said this since 1996. And there was a report to Andrew O'Rourke by the African American Advisory Board that warned about this, what we see today.
Yeah.
It warned about this, and it explained how they were forcing poor people out of White Plains, out of these other areas when White Plains was just right at that time. The Galleria was the big mall.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? The Galleria was the new big thing at that time. But now we actually see the effects throughout Westchester, and we know the causes, but the causes was done by Democrats and Republicans, because there are a lot of black Democrats that was on the African American Advisory Board at that time that are now senators, and they were mayors, and they were in key positions today, and they literally, and I say it, and I continue to say it, even though, and I love a lot of them to death, they literally did nothing to address the issue. So now we're here to continually fighting. So what do we do with them? Do we keep them in office, or do we vote their asses out to try to find, on a local, state, and a national level, people that's going to go in Albany, people that's going to go down to Washington, D.C., and actually fight for what's going on? Because
this revolution isn't happening in D.C. This revolution
happens
happens
local.
at the education board.
That's right.
In the state houses. That's where this revolution takes place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm 110% in on the Feel the Burn movement, but I am also very aware that we need to go all the way down ballot with this stuff.
Yes.
And we can with the momentum that we're seeing all over. You guys were just talking about a little bit of the taste of what the Feel the Burn movement can do on Twitter, but we have seen people not just take to the internet and act, But I see in Las Vegas people descending on Nevada from neighboring states to help get out the vote for caucus. I see people organizing themselves, self-organizing, with no leadership but their own motivation to go from Florida to Iowa for the caucus. I mean, I've been, I think that I'm fairly aware of what's been going on for the last 16 years in politics. I don't think I've seen a lot of people self-organize to take buses from as far away as Florida to head into Iowa for not just a day, for days.
No, that's great.
The caucus.
That's great, and that's what needs to be done. And we need to organize. And we need people. We need people to get involved. Sometimes people have that not. As long as it's not in my backyard mentality. I talk to black cops. And they don't want to stand, but when their child gets racially profiled or they get racially profiled, then they're up in the uproar. And it's like, well, if you don't stand, for these other kids, you want to wait to stand when you're in plain clothes and you get shot at by a white cop. Now you got a problem with it, because you thought it would never happen to you, or other people that don't fight until their child is killed or there's an issue that happens to their child. We have to stop that. I mean, we all have to come out, because sooner or later that injustice will knock at our door. It will knock at our door. So, I think people need to really start looking and start being involved.
You know the old proverb, they came for
yes,
somebody
yes,
and
yes,
I didn't
yes,
do anything,
yes.
and then they came for
right,
and then
right,
they came
right,
for me and there was
right.
nobody left.
And that came from a Holocaust victim, because they were talking about the Holocaust, and when they came for these people, we didn't do nothing. Right. When they came to these other people, we didn't do nothing. When they came for these other people, we still didn't do nothing. When they came for us, there was nobody left to come for us. Right. Because and that's basically, he was talking about the Holocaust, the actual Holocaust, and the Jews, because they watched everything. Then when they turned on them, it was nobody else to even fight for them. So I mean, and that's the situation that that I don't want to be in. I really don't want to be in. And it just jumped in my mind, the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, I was troubled when they jumped on the stage with Bernie, and caused all that ruckus, because I knew they wasn't going to do it to Hillary.
So full disclosure, I've been out in the streets quite a bit with BLM movement, but I was not at all put off. I watched it live. I knew it was happening. We had inner dialogue between the people that work on People for Bernie, and you know what? I don't care who you vote for or what your rationale is. If you're killing my brothers and sisters, I'm gonna get up on stage too. And
yeah, but I thought that was
no. I think
I would have done.
But I think
the
point he's making is they did it to Bernie, and there's no way they was going to do it to
Clinton.
Right. That was he's not saying that they did it, but they wasn't.
Well, they haven't. They would have
been shut down if they tried to take over Hillary's stage.
And we know they wasn't going to do that to Donald Trump. So the whole thing, and I got love. Don't get it wrong. I got love for the Black Lives Matter movement.
We met,
and I met with some of them, and I have some disagreements, because I feel that, they're, when they announce that they're not supporting any candidate. I think that's wrong, because now you done pulled yourself out the whole political process. And if you just wanna march and rally and that's your choice. But there's others that's gonna be. We understand the only way legislation is going to be changed is we have to put those people in place to change the legislation. They're not gonna. You could go down to wherever and rally and protest, but first of all, if you ain't registered to vote and you ain't in that person's district, he ain't gonna give a damn anyway. He's not gonna give a damn because you're not voting for him. I mean, that's the way. We talk. That's the way politicians think. It doesn't matter, And one time, when one of the legislators got caught with weed in Connecticut and got arrested, right? So we're like, okay, what's gonna happen to him? You know what King Jenkins said? That's up for his. That's not our problem. That's his district's.
Yeah.
You know, if his district want him out, then that's his district's choice. Right. And it made me think. You know, even though we might bus people into certain places, the buses leave, the protesters leave, but the people that voted for them are still there.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
If you take a look at Ferguson, if you take a look at Baltimore, if you take a look at Cleveland even, the way that they're building power back after having the movement invigorate the community, I think that you are going to and are seeing a lot of that. It takes a while for it to come to fruition because, of course, it's the election cycle. We're dealing with, you know, what seats are open and how much change can one movement or one community affect. But I do think that I see a lot of power being built within those communities. I think that we should continue.
No, I'm not saying. No, I'm not saying we should. It's
I
not
was part of Occupy,
right.
and lots of people said that we didn't do anything. But I sure as hell know that everybody knows the words 99%.
No, and look, and what Occupy movement showed a lot of white folks, because I was on the panel, that they beat white folks in the head too, the police. So it doesn't, you know, like it's no discrimination in getting your ass whipped by police. You know, they showed that with the NYPD. But you know, my whole thing is the point that
nightstick is colorblind.
Yeah. It'll take you out, man. It does. It's you know.
I am starting to see a little bit as we move closer to the election. I'm starting to see the Black Lives Matter movement start pick up steam a little bit. So Sean King, for example, he just endorsed Bernie last week. Shout out to Sean King.
Okay, that's good. See, I need to hear things like that.
He has a huge following. So you go on his Twitter page, and I just saw him tweeting something a few minutes ago about why Bernie Sanders is the preferable candidate in this election. And when you look at this election, and you look at all of the latest polls, and you look at the tactics, it's eerily similar to 8 years ago with Barack Obama, right? When at first Barack Obama was a long shot.
You know, a lot of black people you're gonna lose black people on that one because it was just he was black. See, there was people that just voted for him because he was black. Oh, black. And just, there's some people.
No.
But I hear the point.
I mean, you're gonna have those people that's gonna vote for Barack because he's black, and I would tell people I wasn't voting for Barack because he's black. I was voting for Barack because he was actually the best candidate, and you know. And that makes it different.
Ben Carson doesn't have a following like Barack Obama does. We voted for Barack Obama because we wanted universal health care.
Right. We wanted the issues. And if you see it, and you know, and they're talking about it now with the whole thing with the Iran deal, you know, he spoke about that on his campaign. You know, and instead of having muscle all the time, let's sit down.
Diplomacy.
You should not be able to be afraid. You should, and I'm going to repeat this because this came from Barack. Maybe some people get lessons from this. You should not be able to be afraid to sit down and dialogue with those that you disagree with.
Absolutely.
All right.
He was ridiculed. He was ridiculed by Hillary.
Right, and he was ridiculed by Hillary and the Democratic Party. Yeah. You know, but look what came out of that. Look what came out of that. Look, Cuba. Look what came out of that. Now Iran. You understand? Look right. What's coming. Look what's coming out of it. Now, will Hillary do that? Hell to the no. You know, hell to the no. And I really think, and people need to really talk about, you know, her being in that position. What was it? The that go around. I can't even think the position she had. What's the position? Secretary of State. She made a mess of the Middle East. Let's be honest.
Secretary.
She made a mess of the Middle East. They shouldn't have killed Gaddafi. They should have kept Gaddafi in place. Now nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about Benghazi. They don't even want to. Libya is not even discussed anymore, and it's outrageous. See, you know, I mean, I really think they made a mistake, and she was part of that.
Yeah, and that's and so foreign policy, all right?
Her foreign policy is terrible. We'll be at war.
And the reason I voted for Obama, because initially I didn't know who he was, and I wasn't just going to vote for a black person just because he was black. I wanted to learn a little more, and it was the Iraq vote that really got me, and her support for that just really showed that she was out of touch. You know,
there's another senator that voted against the war.
And I was getting to that. That was just my segue.
Who would that be?
Who could that be? Who could that be?
Was actually Mr. Bernie Sanders, and his policy or his ideas where the United States should not be the police of the world, like that resonates with me because we're spending half of our discretionary budget on our military, and that money really should be going to our districts here at home. That should be going towards our education system. That should be going towards our infrastructure.
Taking care of the veterans that went there.
Exactly.
So I want to cut in because we had some people that said they were just tuning in. If you are just tuning in, you are listening to People Before Politics, and we have Katherine Brezler of People Before Perny and New Rochelle Councilman Jared Rice. And I asked that because shout out to Brenda Crump, who's one of our supporters, listens all the time. She has something to do, and she asked, well, okay, I'm tuning in now. Who's the guest? So for anybody else who's just tuning in now.
Is she feeling the burn?
Are you feeling the burn, Brenda? She will respond. She responds throughout. So we'll get an answer to that eventually. So go ahead. So I just wanted to so for y'all that just tuned in, and we're discussing Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, so foreign policy, like on the issues, you can't look at the issues like, and I'm an elected official and I get it, like with Democrat politics, and it's like a follow the leader game that we're supposed to play. But like this election is so important. Like this election is too important to be playing follow leader right now. And from the DNC on down, like I can't do it. And whatever happens. It's all good. But you know what? At the end of the day, whether Bernie Sanders wins, whether he loses, I feel good. I feel empowered. I feel like I have new knowledge. I have new insight and he taught me a lot. And now I'm going to continue using that mindset as I move forward. And that's what we really need to be focusing on. We need to be focusing on a more equitable economic system that is fair for all and everybody has a chance. And it doesn't even break down along racial lines. It's just something that's universal for everybody. So I'm going to keep pushing.
I think what you said there was really clutch. I've heard a lot of people say that people are really excited to be talked to like an adult from a politician. You know, I'm okay with if you challenge me and I have to look something up. I'm okay with you not dumbing down whatever it is you're spewing at me so that I can lap it up because it's easy to swallow.
And we have people, and I say this all the time, I'm not afraid to tell you, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Can you explain that to me? I don't know. Like, we have to just not be so sensitive. There's things I don't know. Then we have guests that come on here and be like, okay, wait, break that down because I'm not sure what you're talking about. So, you know what I'm saying? They had to break it down a little bit to me. So, we have to not be afraid to say, I don't know as well. So, yeah.
Right.
It's okay to be challenged a little
yes.
bit every now and then.
We get challenged all the time. So
yeah, I'm always
we stay challenged.
I'm really used to it. I'm like used to being challenged and being called out and being called names, but it's okay. I like it. Jesus was called name too, wasn't he? I'm not saying I'm Jesus, but
Martin Luther King was called.
So was Martin Luther King, Malcolm X.
And speaking of Martin Luther King, this is Martin Luther King weekend. Shout out to MLK. Like people always focus on his nonviolence or his racial equity, but he had a strong economic message that got lost in the shuffle. And when you hear the words Democrat, socialist, like that's what he was saying. Like literally, he said those words, and he just never lived long enough to really fulfill what he was trying to do economically and bring whites and blacks together who had common cause. But this is it. This is really where we need to move forward these next 8 years, and I'm so hyped just to get going because
you
there's
just
so
got
much
it out there. Next 8 years, not 4. Next 8 years.
Next 8 years,
Yeah, I got you.
and then we'll figure out who's gonna. But for all we know, the same people we run again 8 years from now, right? But
you know, I just want to put this out there. Okay, so my problem with Hillary, and I'm not saying I'm feeling the burn. So, but I'm just saying, yo, let's look at it this way. And this probably help y'all out a little bit. Yo, so we had two families. We had Bush, who the last one that just did 2 terms, and his father did 2 terms. And then he did 1 term as vice president. And then we had 2 terms of Bill Clinton. And yo, that's what 4, 8, 12. Yo, if she win, that's 20 years of the Clintons and Bushes. Like, you know, I mean, like we need somebody else. Somebody else need to. We don't need any more Clintons or Bushes. No disrespect to Jeb or Clinton or Chelsea or whoever else they want to come up with. We need other families to get involved because
it's always amazing.
And not Trumps. Nobody named Trump. No, nobody named Trump.
No. It's always amazing to me, not just at a national level, but all the way down ballot again, like that we don't have a more vibrant primary experience. We're living in a country with over 300 million people, and we can't find enough people civically minded enough, engaged enough, empowered enough to understand that this is a government of the people, by the people, and that they have to do a part of the work. They have to lift. I don't think Jared wants to do this.
You know what? A lot of people don't feel that they're included in with the people. A lot of people don't feel.
Well, they were told they weren't.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not just talking about black people. There's a lot of people that just don't feel, like Mount Vernon, Black City is there's a big Brazilian, Portuguese demographic that does not feel included in, you know what I'm saying, in the plans that are made for Mount Vernon. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people that don't feel engaged, young people. That's why we have Mayor Thomas, because a lot of young people felt that the former administration did not speak to the millennial generation. So they all engaged, and, we have a new mayor now. So, and then you see that all over. When you don't feel engaged, sometimes it's easy. Sometimes when you just get beat up and you just get beat up and get beat up, it's hard not to get to that point where you just give up and be like, that's just the way it is. Or, why are things like, oh, that's just Mount Vernon, or whatever else. It's hard to tell those people to keep fighting. You've heard promise after promise after promise. You've seen candidate after candidate after candidate. On the national level, Democrats, Republicans, we still in the same situation. You know what I'm saying? Well, it changes a little bit. It degrees of this change and degrees of that change, but basically we still kind of in the same situation. It got worse. The middle class disappeared. You know what I'm saying? We did have a middle class. I don't think
we did.
I don't think that there's even a middle class anymore. Like you're
working
upper poor. You're upper working poor.
Working
that sounds
poor.
better than upper poor, because I was gonna say upper poor. You know what I'm saying? Or just rich, and not rich like people don't understand between rich and wealthy. Rich is not the right word. Wealthy. I think Chris Rock, or one of the comedians, said Shaq is rich. The white guy who signs his check, he's wealthy. You know what I'm saying? So we're not even talking about rich people anymore. You have poor, poorer, working poor, and wealthy. Like there's just nothing in between. Like there's a whole big middle missing. Like
the house my parents raised me in, or the house that my grandparents owned, is neither of those will likely be in my reach in my lifetime. And I went to school. I have a master's degree. I work at a good job, I think. But I mean, I love my job. I would like to say that. But I think that we haven't set up our generation for success. And I hate to poke fun at the baby boomers, but they got a little bit.
They had it good.
Yeah, they got it good because the generation before them fought tirelessly to make sure that they had all of those things. And then you want to talk about entitlement. That was entitlement. They didn't get up. They didn't take the streets. They didn't teach my generation or your generation quite like that. The 70s was vibrant. And then, and then. And now we have a situation where we're having to stand up and push forward on a lot of this stuff, and it's uncharted territory for us. But the millennials outpace the baby boomers in size.
That's absolutely. And we have a long time friend of the show, Shanice Coleman, who said she has a very brief message, comment or quote to Jared. Shanice.
Hi, Jared.
What's up, Shanice?
Hi, how are you?
Doing great.
Okay, I was always a Hillary Clinton person, and I said I was going to support her. But last year, the New Year's, I was in Haiti, and someone asked me a question about Hillary Clinton, and I thought it was going to be a riot. Then I came back to the States, and then I seen the article that you support and the other candidates. I did my research, and I realized I was supporting her.
Great.
Okay, I was always a Hillary.
What?
I can't hear.
Hold on. I don't know. I'm trying to.
No, she was saying
Shanice, hold on.
Tell her
I mean, we know she's talking about it in Haiti, right?
Yes.
She has to go on the other line.
No. Call. Just call back. Hang up and call back, and I'll put you on. We got another call somehow. Bump. We call it 718. State your name in a brief comment. And Shanice, call back. Oh, she can't hear me.
I want to get that. I want to see. Yeah, she was about to say.
Okay,
something.
the 718. The caller from the 718. Let me tell her to call back.
I'll text her.
Okay, but go ahead. We're gonna put her back on.
So if
that was my fault technically.
Just be.
You see.
Hello.
That's
yes,
what,
caller from the 718 area code. 718 area code. You're on People Before Politics. Please state your name and your comment real briefly.
Thank you. Good evening. This is Jeff Monroe, and
hey, my brother, what's happening, man?
Peace, Damon, and to Ms. Brezler. Good evening, Mr. Rice, and to AJ. Good evening to everybody. I'll be brief. I want to say thank you, first of all, for giving Bernie Sanders some airtime in terms of discussion.
Shanice, hold on, you're next. Go ahead, Shanice, hold on, you're next. Go ahead, Jeff. Sorry about that.
And I want to raise. I mean, everyone's raised some cogent, argumentative points for Bernie, against Hillary. I think really some of us who are most disengaged in this process are disengaged because both parties and every other political entity, and this includes independent party acolytes, don't have any real answers for those of us who are sick of the whole process. And obviously you have to respect whatever aspects of politics exist, and we can't surrender that ground, and that's clear. But going forward, we don't really hear from some of these aspects of really restorative justice that America has never spoken to when it comes to the poor and the oppressed. I realize Mr. Sanders has spoken to the issue of the pipeline, prison to school to prison pipeline, and he's spoken to some of the aspects of oppression, but aspects of actual self-sustenance are not being addressed. Ms. Brezler, you just noted something about the previous generation to the boomers, talking about working tirelessly to sustain themselves. They did not work for anything in the early 20th century. They stole everything they had, and they inherited, and the subsequent generation inherited that. So those of us that want at least some of those resources back need to get addressed by Mr. Sanders. Obviously, Hillary's not going to speak to that. She is beholden to interests that actually hold those coffers. So speaking to that issue of self-sustenance, some of these issues exist in places like Mount Vernon. They're in North Carolina, they're in California, they're in places like Alabama, Mississippi, where poor communities are actually coming out to sustain themselves in particular projects like like urban farming, SUSUs or independent banking institutions that aren't necessarily federally regulated. But these are aspects that are going to be necessary when most of these corporate structures, like Walmart closing, like Sears closing, a lot of these national corporate structures are dying. A lot of these international structures are dying, and they're going to come back to America to get reimbursed. So we want self-sustenance. What does Mr. Sanders think about that?
Oh, well, I mean, I can tell you the co-op community.
Hello?
Wait, let her answer the question, and then we're going to get you right back in. We're sorry you got disconnected. We're going to let her answer the question first. Go ahead.
I think that you touch on so many issues, and so I'm going to try and get to all of them the best that I can. But when we're talking about the co-op community or the sharing community, I think that you can look to Vermont and look to what he set up in Burlington that speaks to a lot of that. Even if I could take a model in Yonkers, I mean, it's a revolutionary act for Jadakiss to have opened the juice box, right? Like, that's amazing in a food deserted area. You're talking about bringing kale in and making it popular.
Mm-hmm.
That's a response that came from the community, right? No outsider came in and brought that in. So these responses to these long problems that are complicated and been, ever present, the response has to come from the community and be supported from the outside. I don't think that the response to much of what's going on comes from the outside in. It's supported by an executive or a legislative body that sees the potential in a new legislative approach. Like Jared just did it. Jared had leadership in real time. It caught fire. A neighboring district said, yeah, that's a great idea. that's a sharing community.
Absolutely.
That's what it looks like.
Absolutely. I wonder. First off, I want to thank Jeff for calling in, and I want to apologize for Shanice getting disconnected, and I wanted to bring her back in so she can continue her comment. Shanice.
Okay. Did you hear what I said the first time?
Yo, so we heard Haiti.
We heard you at the Haiti point, and then you got cut off. And just when you
Okay,
came back,
I
you went to
said-
Haiti, you came back.
Okay, I said hello to Jared and all the other guests, my brother and AJ and the rest of y'all. Okay, I went to Haiti last year for the New Year's, and I mentioned, well, I was asked about Hillary Clinton, and I said something positive, and I thought it was going to be a riot. Then I came back to the States, and then I read the article that AJ wrote on Black Westchester, and what Jared was endorsing Sanders. I did my research, and I realized I was supporting Hillary because she's a woman. Every woman wants to see another woman become president. But I think that, you know, just looking at all the issues and so forth, I do believe Bernie Sanders has my support.
I just want to respond to that woman to woman because nobody wants to see the glass ceiling shattered quite like me, but I'm a little weary of where those shards fall. And in our communities and communities of color that have been struggling for as long as they have, we often have to talk about what white feminism looks like and how that will potentially reverberate throughout our neighborhoods. I don't often say a cross word about the secretary, but when I made my choice, it was because of my feminism, not in antithesis of it.
Exactly.
Well, we thank you for that, and
I'll get a.
Go ahead, Jared.
I'll come by, Shanice, and get you to sign my petition.
Okay, I will sign it. And can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
Mount Vernon has one of the best city councilmen, Councilman Andre Bauer. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Yes. That's a friend of the show, Shanice Coleman. We thank y'all for listening, whoever's listening. We phone lines open just a little longer, 718-705-4959. We have supporters of Bernie Sanders in the house, and they're trying to tell us why Westchester needs to feel the burn.
So yeah, April 19th, right? That's when the New York State primary is going to be held, and prior to that, there's a lot of other states. So we start with Iowa, then we go to New Hampshire, then I think it's Nevada, then it's South Carolina, and for months people thought that Hillary Clinton was the inevitable candidate, and that we could have debates on weekends. There's a debate tonight, right? And
on a Sunday night.
On a Sunday night.
On a Martin Luther King
King, football playoffs, everything, right? And they just didn't want us to know of anybody else because it was her time. It was her time 8 years ago, and that proved to be wrong. And now that we have options, now that we have the opportunity as citizens, as voters, to look into our future and to see where do we want to go. Do we want to be a country where we have haves and have-nots, or do we want a country where we all have an equal chance? And I've been working with my brother's keeper for the last few months, and when I look at my brother's keeper and I look at the message that Bernie Sanders has, there's no way I could support anybody else but Bernie Sanders and not be fake about it, right? Like, I don't want to be fake about this. I just want to be real. I want everybody to understand what the positions are, what's at stake, what the issues are. And New York, Westchester, New Rochelle, United States, like let's take this seriously. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but I'll tell you to take a look at the issues. And you look at these issues and you see what candidates come down on your side, and it's a no-brainer. And that's what it came to with me. So I'll be out. I'm still getting petitions signed till the end of the month. Catherine's out. She'll speak a little bit after, right after I finish. And we're going to be out there. We're going to be recruiting people. We're going to be getting people to be more informed, and we're getting people to feel the burn. And people say to me, Jared, aren't you scared that the Clintons are going to be upset? I don't know them. Like, yeah.
I gotta respond. Brenda Crump. We asked Brenda Crump does she feel the burn? And she said, yes, I feel the burn, B-U-R-N, because she just came from her fitness workout. It was really, really great. So that was her little joke. So she wanted me to say that. So, yeah, that shout out to Brenda Crump. Go ahead.
So we're going to get her to feel the B-E-R-N, and I'm going to get her to sign the petition as well. I'm running for a delegate in CD16. That's Elliot Engels District. That's the Bronx, Northern Bronx, Mount Vernon, New Rochelle, Yonkers, Eastchester, Pelham, and Greenburgh. And we're really going to take this seriously, and we're not going to be scared. We're going to have courage and fight for our convictions, and wherever the chips fall, that's fine. But I'm on, and there's nothing that can stop me at this point. So I'm just going to keep speaking the truth, and we'll see where everything lands.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
And I like that. That's great. You know, we have to continue to challenge the issues. But a lot of people are going to come out. I think once the local press, especially the local press, start talking Bernie, they're going to see that more people in Westchester County are definitely going to come on board, you know. And as a black law enforcement organization, we're going to put our full support behind Bernie Sanders, because not just the issues locally here in Westchester County, but I've been blessed to speak throughout the nation on issues of police oversight and accountability. And, you know, the regular Democrat status quo has actually failed, you know, when we see the continuing killing of black men and women and a criminal justice system that Bill Clinton has admittedly, which we already knew. I mean, Michelle Alexander's book, The New Jim Crow, just blew him out of the water. It was nothing he could do about it, but admit it when she decided to run for president. So, you know, we already knew the laws that he passed, the laws that she championed while he was president, to pass, that actually put a lot of black and brown, poor black and brown, and some and white, depending on where you live at the United States.
And this is from the one we black people actually said the first black president.
Right, was the first black president. So, you know, we're not falling for the same okey doke. and as a law enforcement organization, we're going to put our support behind Bernie Sanders, because that's what's needed, not just for Westchester County, but that's what's needed for the nation and the issues that he has addressed. You know, I mean, you can't talk crime and violence and not talk poverty. You can't talk crime and violence and not talk about a poor education system. You know, you can't talk crime and violence and not talk about poor economic development and job creation. See, you know, we could talk all that stuff, but we're not talking about. We could talk about the effects, but we're not talking about the causes. You know, we're just talking symbolism with no substance. So, you know, and I think that's what a lot of these politicians is actually doing right now, and that's what Hillary is doing. And I think that's why more people are looking to see Bernie Sanders as the Democratic candidate for president.
Now, while I joke,
and you can chop that up and make that official endorsement.
Okay. So while I okay, there you go. So while I joke that this better be his first stop, and I'm serious, but no.
He said I'm joking, but I'm really serious though.
But seriously though, we want to see him in Westchester. I want to see, I like a lot of what he has to say, and I'm not really feeling Clinton, and I will say that on the record. But as far as an endorsement, I'm not, the editor of Black Westchester, so I'm not going to do that right now.
That's
but I want to see more answers on. You said politics is local. What he's going, what he says, how he speaks to Westchester, and how I want to hear what he has to say more. And I'm definitely, we need that. We need that, and he need to make a presence in Westchester. So I'm waiting to see that.
We were talking about equality a second ago, but I like what Cornel West has to say, Dr. Cornel West. Justice is what love looks like in public, right? Y'all ever seen that meme where you have the three different sized people, and then equality is they all have the same box, but justice is the right box for the right people?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you know this being a lawyer, Jared, that what makes you whole again, right? That's what justice is. equality is what they're calling our schools. I'd like to see a little bit more just laws being made.
Good.
Right?
Yes.
Right? And
I want to see some more justice, and not just us in jail. So yeah.
Same.
That's my wife. She was with Hillary at first, and I've been working on her, and now she's down with Philip Burns. So she texted me. She said, "Jared, don't forget to tell him I'm down too." So my wife is down with Philip Burns as well. Can she get a round of applause for that?
Hear some of what I had to say as just
but I thank you for coming through, and especially you never heard of us, you know what I'm saying, so you didn't know what okay. Hey,
there you go. There's nothing wrong with that.
Round of applause. No. Yeah, we tackled one or two issues. Yeah. So no, but to take your time and that's what this show. We have to use, that's what we try with Black Westchester and People Before Politics, is kind of be the voice of the community to kind of to get the information out there. There's a lack of, we lost all black radio, like what I grew up on and the talk radio. But we used to get the information. It was broken down to us. What these you see a debate and they would break down what they were saying and how that affected us. You know what I'm saying, in our community, not what Newsday or the Daily News or the Times, but how it affected us. And we don't have a lot of that no more. I'm not saying we're the only essence of it, but we're trying to restore, do our part to restore that, to educate and uplift the community. You know what I'm saying? And hold our people to the feet to the fire, which is a thankless job, because when you do something that they like, or that's favorable for them, he's the greatest, we love you, this, that, and other, but like the new candidate come in and you do the same thing to him, they're like, oh man, he's just one side. Look, he just, as long as it benefit them, they good, or if they like what you do, it's good. But you got to it is a thankless job, but we got to hold that down. And I thank y'all for coming to speak, and hopefully there's people out here listening that will learn something, that will get engaged and feel. And also I hope there's young ladies that are inspired by you. I definitely feel yes. And you know what? Everybody talk. I want to do you not old enough to vote just yet? But
I will be.
Oh, there you go. So how do you feel? How do you feel Bernie Sanders speaks to your generation, or how do you feel as a first-time voter? You will be.
I think that he speaks to my generation, and that he gives us credit that we are old enough to actually understand what's going on. He doesn't play any of us for fools. I have friends that support Bernie Sanders, like Angel, that's sitting right beside me, and people that go to my school, and no one would ever think kids from Yonkers know who Bernie Sanders is, or understand that he supports free college tuition, or that he supports Black Lives Matter. I have two little brothers. Bernie Sanders, he understands that one day my little brothers are going to walk down the street and is going to be 12 years old, and he's going to be racially profiled. Nobody else is talking about that. Bernie Sanders is. He's giving credit to my community. He's giving us a voice and giving my friends and my people. Right now, if I have a conversation with someone else, someone else about politics, they're going to say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're 17. But that's not it. I'm going to go to college. You have to accept the fact that I do know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to learn more so that I can engage myself more in this conversation.
And more than that, you know what you're talking about, that you have a voice.
Right.
Even though it may not be their voice, you have a voice. You know what I'm saying? And your voice has to be respected.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't respect that. That's why I want you to speak. That's why I want people to hear this. Intelligent young people. That's what we want to portray. We want that. They do exist. They do exist. You ever see that commercial with the Eminem dude and the Santa Claus? And they go, is he real? Is he real? The Eminem guy goes, is he real? Exist. And Santa Claus sees them, and he goes, oh, they do exist. And he says, he does exist. And then they faint. Intelligent young black people, they do exist. Right, they do exist. Right, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so. We want to portray, that we don't have enough of that. And that's another reason for doing Black Westchester and People Before, to change the narrative. Yeah. Mainstream media is going to do what they do. They're going to portray us the way they do, for money, for this, for that. And just that's what they do. There's no need to just keep getting mad at them. We fight them. We'll keep fighting them for them to do better. But we need more of these. You know what I'm saying? So we have to do our part and change the narrative and hopefully encourage everybody else to do their part, whatever it is. Everyone can't do this. Everyone can't be on the front line like Damon. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't do what you're doing. Everybody won't be going to college and doing what you're doing. But everybody got to do what they do on their level to represent. So any last words? How to contact y'all? How to sign up for the Bernie Sanders?
How do people sign up?
Right, there you go.
To burn up Westchester. That's what we want to know.
You want to sign up to be a member of the revolution? You go to map.berniesanders.com and find yourself a local event. And you can find me on Twitter. I'm pretty easy to find at Katherine Brezler, Brezler.
You know what? I was searching your full name. That's why I couldn't find you. Because I do some reason you didn't get tweets from me because I was looking for you. So it's KAT. So do me a favor. We're connected on Facebook. I've talked to you through Facebook, I think. Right?
Yeah.
So send me that in Facebook.
Sure.
And when we post the show later tonight, it'll have that.
There's about half a dozen tweets that we've gone out.
Right. We'll have that information, and make sure you just doubly send me your stuff, and that'll be under to get in touch with people want to get in touch. So go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, definitely. Right now we're in petition mode, so I'm trying to get more signatures. So I'll be around. I'm in Mount Vernon every day. I'm in New Rochelle every day, and if I'm gonna bump into you, I'm gonna call you ahead of time. But everybody knows how to reach me on Facebook or my Twitter, Councilman Rice. So let's get this first phase done in the month of January, and then we could really start making some planning efforts for the next month.
And if you can't find him, just stand in front of the courthouse. Eventually, he's going to come out because he in there representing everybody. Because, real talk, I had to go to court for a friend of the family, and every time I'm going, I bumped into Jared in the hallway. He's like, and I appreciate. Let me just say this on the record. I appreciate Linda Morris. I appreciate you. They also, you good? You're not here for you, right? No, I'm good. I'm good. Like they wanted to make sure that I didn't have a case that So not yet, but no, it wasn't me. So I appreciate that y'all even asked about me. You know what I'm saying? That y'all wanted to make sure I was straight. Yeah. That means a lot. So, Damon Jones, anything we didn't speak about, anything we want to ask, what you want to say?
Happy MLK Day to everybody. I think we need to start really reflecting on the real MLK, not just a black man that had a dream, but a black man that fought for the civil and human rights of people throughout the world. And I think before some of these black preachers start preaching Martin Luther King, they really need to listen to some of his last speeches the year before he got killed.
And you can find him on Black Westchester.
I'm really serious about this because, I don't see the black preachers really stepping up like Martin Luther King did, but they want to claim him.
They want to claim his name.
You can always claim a dead man. It's easy to claim Malcolm. When a lot of these people wasn't around Malcolm, you can easily claim.
And they would have been down for the struggle.
You can easily claim Martin Luther King Jr. But if he was walking around today, a lot of y'all wouldn't even invite him to your church. I'm keeping it real because there's a lot of issues in our community that we need the black preachers to get from behind the pulpit and address our issues. Look, what the movie about MLK exposed the lack of involvement of the black churches throughout the black communities now.
Today, right.
Today. Everything happened in the black church. See, that's why this is the hot seat. Sometimes you don't want to sit next to me in the hot seat. That's all I'm saying. Everything.
I don't have the confidence to say some of the confidence I can say in Jared's ear online.
That's why I warned you. But, sitting next to me in the hot seat. But everything happened in the black church. The political movement, the social movement, it came all out of the black churches, man. And when we have cities with over 300 houses of worship, and we have all the ills that we have, we gotta start looking at ourselves and wondering, why things don't change. So I think we all need to reflect on what Martin Luther King Jr. was really about tomorrow. Instead of the breakfasts and the lunchings and all that, I think everybody need to listen to a speech. Everybody need to maybe read, a book, not the autobiography, but his actual speeches, to really think what this man is about, and don't think that we won because we got Barack Obama in. What the presidency of Barack Obama has shown that this nation is even more racist. More racist because it's not just Jim Crow. It's Jim Crow. It's James Crow Esquire. Because now they're running around with lawyers and doctors' degrees. And they put away the hoods. People are talking about, well, there's KKK in the police department. They've been KKK in the police department since they developed the police department. So that's nothing new, but we don't want to discuss it. So, I went on, this is my little rant, but all I'm saying is tomorrow, let's really think about moving forward and everybody be a little Dr. Martin Luther King. Not the one that had a dream, but the one that took action and tried to change society. I'm done.
All right. Our young people, any last words? Anything you want to say?
Thank you for having me today, and thank you for helping everybody acknowledge that my voice does matter.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. And I am being asked to remind people that the Board of Education meeting and bonds vote in Mount Vernon trustee. When is it? Brenda, you got to tell me when it is. You didn't say when it is. It's coming up, so...
Just remember that 2% of the population usually votes in an education budget, and that should never be the case. That's why they get away with everything they get away with. It's because only 2% of the voices.
There you go. There you go. And when she started talking, I said, yo, she might be able to handle sitting next to David. She's good. and just so you know, people have gotten in trouble for being on the show, but this is the show to say what you want to say.
Right,
you can say it here.
Right.
So,
it's a hot seat.
Yeah.
That's a hot seat.
So you could.
There you go. I like that.
So you could be doing anything else, and you decided to ride with us, and we greatly appreciate it.
Catch the debate tonight.
That's right. I gotta go.
What time?
9 o'clock.
ABC, 9 o'clock. NBC? Just kidding. Doesn't matter.
Y'all find
Stream it live.
Just click the channel.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you'll find it online. So you could be doing anything else right now, but you decided to ride with us, and we greatly appreciate it. You are listening to Black Westchester presents People Before Politics Radio every Sunday, 6 to 8 on InTheMixRadio.com. Check out the site blackwestchester.com. All of the stories and most of the stuff we discussed is on there. The show will be on there in a couple of hours. If you missed any portion of the show or any of the previous shows, you can check them out on blackwestchester.com. Until next week, peace.
You will not be able to stay home, brother.
There's a program.
You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nub. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide a TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry armed women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Keys, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl.